Good afternoon and welcome back to another ironic introduction to another video. As always, check the description for timestamps. If you're here for like the M.O.D.O.K Island Buyer's Guide, there'll be timestamps for Cavalier and Uncollected. But that said, I'm going to start with like a quick review of May. So May is probably one of the slowest months we've had in a very long while. A big part of that is the 5-week month, just making it kind of a drag. I'm really disappointed there was no special Deadpool event, Platinum Pool especially. I was really looking forward to maybe like a boss rush or something. I think that would have been a defining characteristic of the month. Like if we had had a Platinum Pool boss rush, I think the month would have been completely different. Overall, the rewards were solid, just the time investment was ridiculous. I think I talked about in my riffs that like special objectives could have been 3 objectives a week instead of 1 every day. I didn't mind the energy cost because again, 5 weeks, you had more energy than you'd think if you had waited it out. So I think the energy was pretty reasonable. Rewards were pretty reasonable. I think like they didn't need to do a class awakening gem given the fact that they were gonna let you pick one anyways. They could have just hardcore nerfed into the ground the 5-star generic awakening gem chance to get it. So essentially, if you want the awakening gem, you pick a chronometer, and if you don't want it, then you're probably not going to get it RNG wise. I think that would have been acceptable. But overall, you know, month wasn't too bad. It just wasn't exciting either. So lots of hit or misses. As far as June forecasting, well, let's stick around and see. So the post itself is welcome to the island of Dr. M.O.D.O.K. Ever since M.O.D.O.K established his hotel, he's been working tirelessly on his experimental champions, but the hotel is no place for his creations to live, so he's been sending them off to a secret secluded island to run free. Now the time has come for M.O.D.O.K to harvest the fruits of his labor, and it's up to the summoner to drop in and collect some samples for M.O.D.O.K to study. Collect samples and get gold coins. Every day you'll receive a sample collector from a special login calendar and use them to enter Island of Dr. M.O.D.O.K quests. Choose one of 6 class-related paths, each with 6 fights plus the boss, total of 7. Complete the quest to earn crystal shards, gold, and special gold coins that can be spent on the M.O.D.O.K hotel store. This might be 6 fights including the boss, but I think it's 6 fights plus a boss fight. These quests feature no energy cost, and you can use multiple sample collections to enter it as many times as you want, though you only get 1 per day. This means that you can do all quests for the month in 1 day, as long as you log in and collect the sample collector every day. Like past lab events, each of these fights will draw a pool of 1 to 3 randomized buffs based on the difficulty. You can use a buff randomizer item available in the store to change the set of buffs. If there is a particular buff that you think you could be trouble, you can use a brand new buff deleter to remove it. Don't be too hasty to remove a buff though. Buff deleters can only be purchased for gold coins in the M.O.D.O.K hotel store. Remember to update. For each quest completion, we will see essentially shards, gold coins, gold, and randomizers in each difficulty, with the shard type, gold quantity, and quantity of gold coins changing based on difficulty. Class use solo events. Dr. M.O.D.O.K challenges you to use certain classes on certain days. Win fights with a specific champion of the day to earn bonus points, and earn even more points by using the class of the day in the Island of Dr. M.O.D.O.K quests. There won't be any rank rewards, but you'll earn more gold coins to spend in the Hotel M.O.D.O.K store by completing the milestones. M.O.D.O.K needs his beauty sleep and will not provide a class use event on Sundays. M.O.D.O.K contracts. 13 special objectives will appear at random times throughout the month. Complete these contracts by finding and defeating the champions listed on the special objective and collect even more gold coins as a reward. These could appear at any time, so keep an eye on your special objectives. Hotel M.O.D.O.K store. So here is the store that you will be able to use. You will have 3,024 gold coins available, less if you're not doing epic difficulty, of course. And here they are. I'll go through this spreadsheet because I think that's a little bit more accurate, and then I'll comment after I've gone through the forum if I see anything crazy in the posts from like official responses, but at the moment I don't see anything. So that is June forecasting. I gotta say, just my gut instinct is this gonna suck. I think it's going to be a lot of effort. I think the rewards are better. Like, we do have an increased reward count. I'll show you in the spreadsheet. But, like, from my experience, the lab events were tough. Like, Sinister Labs is the only labs experience I have, and that absolutely sucked. So I don't know what M.O.D.O.K labs was like last time, so I'll wait until I can do it with maybe like a set of 4 stars first, to like actually have a proper understanding. But I also don't like seeing like buff deleters costing gold coins, because that's one of the few things that I feel like could really help players push through. And you have to sacrifice rewards and be able to clear. It just doesn't feel substantial. I don't mind the fact that they have you log in every day. I think that's really reasonable, but even logging in every day, then having to do this quest 28 times, it's just a big grind. Again, I really think it would have been totally fine. Like, same concept as with Rifts. Instead of making us do it every day, maybe give us 3 a week, and then we only have to do it a total of 12 times instead of 28. It really, really chips off the amount of grinding that it feels, because while you want a degree of grinding, you don't want it to feel extreme, I guess, to an extent. But hey, those are just my thoughts. I do love seeing no energy, and now we'll talk about rewards. So as far as rewards go, what I've got it sectioned here is Epic, Master, Heroic, and Normal. These are based on the quests you do, and bear in mind that you only get 28 total entries, so you can't do Epic and Master and Heroic and Normal. So essentially what I have here is the total number you would get if you did all 28 in one category. So for Epic, you get 1,680 gold coins from Epic, 840 from Master, 420 from Heroic, 140 from Normal. And this is important because essentially I took the 3,024 and I subtracted the quantity difference between Epic and Master to also determine how many gold coins you can get if you're not running Epic difficulty, because this will affect what you buy in the store later. As far as shards, we see a slight increase in the quantity of 6-star shards. It's about 1,400. The month is, remember, 4 weeks. Like, it's really easy to look at the month and say, oh, it's 30 days, but it's actually going to be from June 3rd to July 1st, which is exactly 4 weeks. So we have to multiply by 28 here, so the numbers are just a little wonky. So 1,400 6-star shards, 14,000 5-star shards. This is actually a round average over the last 4 months, but it's more than average than what we used to see, since I've started playing the game. So it is nice seeing a small shift and increase in rewards. 168,000 gold is not the least amount of gold, but it's also not great, and 56 randomizers. I'm not gonna lie, I would have loved to see 1 deleter per Rift run or per quest run instead, just to give people that access. I don't feel like randomizing buffs is super necessary so much as being able to just get rid of that one pesky one, but those are my thoughts. And then these are the shops. Tier 2 alpha, we've got tier 5 basic, etc. At this point, I really just kind of want to talk about the major hits. So here's the huge cutbacks on the shop is that you can get 4 tier 2 alpha if you buy out all the tier 2 alpha. You can get 30% of a tier 5 basic if you buy all of the tier 5 basic, which is huge. Really, really, really huge. You can get some level 4 pots, some level 4 team health pots, only 25-star SIGs, which is still more than the 10 we normally see. So that's an improvement, but 20 is not the world's largest improvement either. But to an extent, 5-star SIG stones being a scarce resource in the game is something I think is really, really reasonable. If you disagree with me, I really encourage you to check out my video called Prestige, why you shouldn't stress about it, but why you should care, because that rant really goes into the depths of details of 5-star SIG level, and I feel like it's stressed in the game. A lot of people feel like this is a really, really brutal wall, and it is. It really, really is, but it's not as brutal as it is when you look at it from a long-term perspective. So hopefully that helps. There is a 5-star Awakening Gem Crystal, as well as Tier 4 Basics, Tier 4 Class Catalyst Selectors, and Tier 1 Alpha. Notably, 5 whole Tier 4 Basic, 10 whole Tier 1 Alpha, and 3 Tier 4 Class Catalysts. Super, super awesome. And we do see level 2 revives as well. So at this point, I'll put a timestamp for those of you who are interested in my Cavalier Buyer's Guide. So what I've done here is I have the costs of everything, and I've added up with my recommendations of what you should buy. First off, I've based it on what you should, or what I would buy if I wasn't buying the Awakening Gem. So naturally, I would max out on Tier 2 Alpha, max out on Tier 5 Basic. I would max out on the level 4 health potions, and I would only buy 1 of the level 4 team health potions. This is because I was just min-maxing the number of gold coins. I maxed out on the 5-star 6 crystals. I maxed out on the Tier 5 Basic, and I bought 2 out of 4 of the 50% Tier 2 Alpha. And the reason for that is you kind of run out of gold coins if you want to get these other things like the Tier 4 Basics, Tier 4 Class Catalyst, and Tier 1 Alpha. You could opt to not get like tier 4 basics and tier 4 class catalysts in order to max out on tier 2 alpha, but I think like it's very rare that we see an opportunity to pick specific tier 4 class catalysts, which is super beneficial. And like the cost of these tier 4 basics and the cost of these tier 1 alphas is very low, and I think the accessibility of tier 2 alpha at this point in the game, especially for people who are Cavalier, is very reasonable. So I think at that point you're better off just saying, hey, 3 tier 2 alpha is plenty. I don't need to grab that 4th one. I'm better off diversifying my resources. But if you're really interested, you can always consider adjusting in order to max out this tier 2 alpha instead. Maybe grab some other potions. I don't have any level 3 potions or level 3 team health potions here, because remember that the level 4 and level 5 health potions are significantly higher value than the level 3. Not just like from a moderate step up point of view, but from a raw amount of health heal, they are just significantly stronger. So I really value these level 4 health potions at 6 gold coins a pop. But level 3 health potions at 4 gold coins a pop are significantly not worth. But I also valued these level 2 revives, which are the only revives you can buy as full value, because honestly, revives is just about picking up your champions, and these are super nice. But of course, if you're running an overflow or something here, you can adjust these 66 points, really not a lot, somewhere else. Now, for someone who's buying the Awakening Gem, if you're Cavalier and you want that Awakening Gem, which I typically wouldn't recommend because it is RNG, so unless you literally have a champion in all 6 classes that you want to awaken, I think you're just better off maybe clearing all the variants and getting your Awakening Gem that way. But if you're absolutely determined, or maybe you're really fishing and you don't mind taking that gamble, because it is a gamble as opposed to clear and cut rewards, I would take the Awakening Gem. I would grab only 1 out of 2 of the tier 2 alpha here, again for point maximization. I would grab both of the tier 5 basic, max out on the level 4 health potions, grab one of the team health potions, max out on the Sig crystals because again these are the highest value, and then grab 2 out of 5 of the tier 5 basic, and then max out on the tier 4 basic, tier 4 class catalyst, and tier 1 alpha, as well as the revives. Now you can mix and match these to an extent, but kind of like some logic on why I didn't grab tier 2 alpha, but I recommend grabbing the tier 5 basic, is that especially if you're someone who's like relatively new to Cavalier, or someone who needs this Awakening Gem, to like really stretch your roster, tier 5 basic is much less accessible than tier 2 alpha. Like a couple weeks of Alliance Quest and you can get tier 2 alpha very quick. Tier 2 alpha in Alliance Quest is very efficient, but tier 5 basic in Alliance Quest is still significantly less efficient than tier 2 alpha, so you're better off grabbing your tier 5 basic here from this event and getting your tier 2 alpha elsewhere. Additionally, some considerations: you can adjust tier 5 basic, tier 2 alpha, tier 4 CC, tier 1 alpha, or tier 4 basic kind of around to suit your needs. Maybe you're fishing for one more tier 2 alpha, or maybe you want to max out tier 5 basic because you're just a little bit away from what you need to rank up. Again, these are just recommendations for people to kind of give a starting ground, and then here I have like your total number of gold coins. So for the suggestions, if you buy everything I've suggested here in this column and you don't buy the Awakening Gem, you have an excess gold coin count of 1. Perfect. And if you have a option of buying the Awakening Gem and you buy everything I recommend here in this column, you use all of your gold coins. Feels great. Next up, I'll put a timestamp here for those of you who are uncollected and can't buy the Cavalier Access shops. So first off, for people who don't get the Awakening Gem, also for those of you who are uncollected and looking at this, I've also like based this quantity off of 2,184 max coins, so feel free to just like add to whatever you're interested in if you have more than this, obviously. But the reason I did this is I feel that a lot of people who are uncollected but not Cavalier might not be able to do a 100% of the epic difficulty quest, given my experience with past labs. And if that's wrong, then this recommended guide does change. It shifts up a little bit, but I think it's easier to add than it is to subtract. So I've opted to do it this way. So based on 2,184 max gold coins and having no access to these 2 top tier categories, I recommend maxing out on the level 4 health potions, maxing out on the 5-star Sig crystals, because again, 5-star Sig crystals are by far one of the most valuable resource in the game. While it's not the worst feeling for free-to-play players because you don't absolutely need an infinite amount of Sig stones, they're still super valuable, and you want to grab them in every situation that you can, because it's all about incremental gains over time. And then I say max out on the tier 5 basic, especially for someone who's uncollected looking to push Cavalier. The difference between a rank 5 being added to your roster versus a rank 4 in your roster is monumental, and it can be a really, really big difference, because honestly, just like one really powerful rank 4 / rank 5 5-star is all you need to make a really strong Cavalier push, like a rank 4 / rank 5 Corvus Glaive, rank 4 / rank 5 Awakened Aegon, or Ghost, Captain Marvel movie. Like, these champions can make or break your Cavalier push, so I generally recommend the tier 5 basic instead, and then you can use like your Alliance Quest points, your Glory, to buy tier 2 alpha instead, and then I recommend buying 3 out of 4 of the tier 2 alpha, so you would still be getting 1.5 tier 2 alpha this way, maxing out on the tier 4 basic, tier 4 class catalyst, and tier 1 alpha, because again, I just really think these are super valuable. If you are uncollected, getting that 2,184 max gold coins, and you want the Awakening Gem, things change, and this is where it gets a little trickier. I still recommend maxing out on health potions and revives, because that's what you're going to use to clear content. I still recommend maxing out on Sig Stones, because this is all about incremental gain. But from here, I actually recommend taking 3 out of 5 tier 5 basic and 2 out of 4 tier 2 alpha. This is going to net you 10% of a tier 5 basic and 1 tier 2 alpha, which is actually the like standard quantity you see from a monthly basis that we used to see before the rewards started getting shifted upwards. So that's actually really, really reasonable to have. Additionally, you can still grab 1 tier 4 basic and 1 tier 1 alpha. It's not the world's greatest spread, but you are opting to grab a 5-star Awakening Gem, and you should be, you know, front-loading that pain as well. Again, same thing here. Unless you have one of every class to awaken, I generally recommend grabbing something else, opting for this more optimal path here with raw reward value. But if you're willing to take the gamble, or you really want to take the gamble, this is my recommendation. And for both of the uncollected suggestions, I say consider adjusting tier 5 basic and tier 2 alpha, as well as tier 4 class catalyst, tier 1 alpha, and tier 4 basic to suit your needs. And the quantity of gold coins here are 3 and 9 respectively. So that said, I hope this guide helped. It's not all comprehensive. Be very comfortable asking me questions. I'll do what I can to help out and provide any kind of recommendation I can. I understand these shops, it's very, very frustrating because you can't just buy everything. It makes it challenging to decide, like, oh, what do I buy? What's optimal? What do I do for my situation? And I understand. I'm here to help. I'm here to give my opinion, which may not be right, but, you know, at least some extra insight from a different player, a different perspective, and that's always comforting, right? That said, as always, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.